Why do we celebrate the anniversary of an assassination? 15 years ago, in the middle of a plague that nearly destroyed Dunwall, a paid killer assaulted the palace where I was born and stabbed my mother in the heart. In the aftermath, the men who sent the assassin tried to use me as a pawn in a game of power. They would have succeeded, but my father, Corvo Attano, hunted them down and cut their conspiracy to pieces. All these years later, am I the ruler my mother wanted me to be? Now, we face a new crisis. A monster the papers are calling the Crown Killer has been picking off my enemies and dressing it up like my father and I are responsible. I don't know whether to get on a ship and sail to the opposite side of the world, or to have everyone around me executed.
Hello, and welcome to Games and Brains. Well, this isn't exactly the podcast you've been listening to. In fact, we don't even have Tristan here at all, so it's just you and me in a little series I'd like to call Joe Plays. Now, let me explain this new series to you, because it's not exactly what we've been doing, and it's not exactly what most people are doing. So, I'm going to bring you a Let's Play of games that I play and enjoy, of course, because why show you a game that I don't enjoy? But, instead of describing to you what you're already seeing, I'm going to just, chat, tell you what's up, tell you how I'm doing, tell you how you're doing, although probably not, because I don't know how you're doing. Hopefully you're doing alright, but I'll just give you a little insight on what's going on in my life, and hopefully that's a good show. So, I've been watching a new show on HBO called Westworld, and if you haven't been watching this show, come out from under your rock and join the rest of the world, because this show is amazing. But let me go ahead and explain this show to you, because, people in my life aren't exactly happy with how much I explain things to them. I mean, I started a YouTube channel just to explain things to you guys, I kinda like explaining things, and I kinda like it when I shut my mouth. So, I hope you guys at least like it when I explain things so I can stop explaining things to them. That's my explanation as to why I like to explain things. If that shows you, what kind of person I am, it probably shows I'm annoying. That's besides the point. Here's what Westworld is. Westworld is a theme park somewhere in some time, when they have the ability to make superhuman-like robots that have artificial intelligence to the degree where you couldn't distinguish them from another human. And you go there, you spend $40,000 for a night there, let me tell you. Now, it is in the future, so there's inflation and stuff. So let's just say, it's $500 a night. I don't know if that's accurate, but it's a nice place, so it's worth a pretty penny, to put bluntly. You're gonna spend a fuck ton to stay here. But it's well worth your money, because there's no morals, there's no laws. You can do whatever the fuck you want to whoever the fuck you want, because they're robots and they can't feel pain. Well, they can feel pain, but they're not humans. And if you kill them, if you hurt them, it won't matter, because they reset the park on a regular basis, and those robots will come back and do the exact same thing over and over again. So, you can do to them as you please, because you spent so much money. And the robots can't even hurt you. Because what's the point of an amusement park if people are going to die? I can't imagine the government would take very kindly to a place like that. But here's the interesting part. The people who created the theme park are now dying, and there's a new breed of individuals, or a new generation as I should say, because it's the same breed. We're all humans. I hope, at least. If you're listening to this and you're a dog, you probably don't really understand what I'm saying. But, they think the initial owners aren't doing, a good job, as you could say, of, handling this theme park. And a few of the visitors are interested in purchasing this theme park because apparently it's doing pretty poorly financially. So there's a couple of them who are testing it out to see if they want to buy it and take over. But the robots are starting to comprehend and remember things, and that's not part of their initial programming, which worries quite a few of the programmers and the owners. So they've been decommissioning a few. But there are a few robots that the owners and the programmers take kindly to, so they enable them to continue on in this theme park, even though they're showing signs of behavior that could entirely crash the theme park. As in, they're now able to start hurting the visitors and the programmers. They're now able to make decisions on their own outside of the script that was designed for them. They're now even thinking on their own. They're remembering past lives and faces that have hurt them, and they're changing outcomes in a predestined world. They're becoming humans. And that's insane. I really hope I haven't spoiled anything for you. I hope you do watch the show. Like, I hope you continue to watch this show.
What happened?
But
Alexei,
if I have spoiled anything, I apologize, and spoiler alert. Okay, that's late, but I said it, so it's okay, right? Right? Since this is the first episode of this game, I'm going to take a little time to talk about this game. I hope that's alright, considering I am playing the game. You might want to know a little bit about the game. I think I'd rate this game like a 6 out of 10, even though it just won Best Action Thriller of the Year at the Video Game Awards, which so hilariously got a strike on YouTube. So now if you go to watch the Video Game Awards, there's no audio, which is hilarious. But that's besides the point. Here's why I'd give it a 6. The game plays superbly linearly. So much so, there's no side quests, there's no side missions, there's no like little side anything. It's just the main story and a few little cutscenes that you might get if you play the game a little differently than most players.
Maybe through Emily's safe room.
You have to play the game and adapt your game to the game itself. And by that I mean there are areas of the game where there are so many enemies, it would be impossible to fight them in just like brawl combat. So you have to stealth it a little bit throughout the game, even if that's not your cup of tea.
Ramsey has it.
That's unfortunate. But that's my ringtone. It's the lesbian character on Brickleberry, which is another funny cartoon. It's by Tosh.0. Highly recommend it. It's not family friendly, just so you're aware. It is funny though. But what was I saying before I was so rudely interrupted? by none other than my other host on the podcast, Tristan. But the game is fun. There are moments in the game where it's rather frustrating because, like I was saying earlier, you have to play their way and adjust your play style. Otherwise, you'll just keep dying over and over again, unless I'm just terrible, which is another thing that might actually be a thing. But there are several points in the game where you're collecting gold. And you're probably thinking like, I can probably spend this gold throughout the game. There's going to be shops throughout the game that I can just go to. Well, that's not exactly the case, because you hit a point in the game and then there's no longer shops. And in fact, I only ended up going to 2 different shop locations throughout this entire game. And I would have gone later in the game had there been an option. I might have just missed a few throughout the game, but I'm pretty sure there's only a handful throughout the entirety of the game. And speaking of the entirety of the game is only about 5 hours long. And that's incredibly short, especially for a $60 game. You're paying $12 an hour to play this video game. Now, shortly, they are releasing New Game Plus, and if that is a thing you are interested in, that is great. But I don't really see a purpose in playing a story-driven role-playing game 2 times, especially one this linear. But if you're playing The Witcher 3 or like Batman, I can understand, because there's tons of side quests, there's upgrades, it's just deep in an open world environment that is conducive to multiple playthroughs. There are upgrades in this game, but I didn't really even pay attention to it, and you don't necessarily need to. I didn't struggle finishing this game. There's no side quests or anything to help you get experience or money. There's just the main story and a few little sub areas that you can participate in if you go through alternative routes. That's Tristan again. Sorry. I'll make sure to silence my phone before I start the next commentary. But other than that, it plays incredibly linearly.
Nothing will stop me from bringing you home, Emily.
Yeah, so I'd rate this game a solid 6 out of 10. I probably would not play it again, because the areas that are frustrating far outweigh the areas that are fun and entertaining to play during. There are a few moments in the game that are just like, this is why this game is awesome. This is why it won Video Game of the Year. But throughout most of the game, it's kind of stale and repetition, because the save points are kind of few between, so you'll find areas of the game where you'll progress pretty far, and then something will happen and you'll die, and you'll be set back much further than you would have anticipated. The graphics are pretty good, I'd say. You can get pretty deep into the lore if you want to, but you can entirely ignore the lore as well if you're not a lore guy or gal. But overall, I wouldn't recommend the purchase just because of how short it is. It's lacking a few features that the first game had. One being mission select and the other being mini games. It's exclusively single player, so if you're looking to play with your friends, this is definitely not a game you should purchase. But it was fun throughout some of it. I
How many
think
people
this is
have
about
forgotten
all I
this
have for you
mask?
this time. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.